Congratulations on choosing Squarespace. It's a really great platform. So our first step is to choose our template. So I'm on the Squarespace homepage. I'm going to choose Get Started, and I'm going to go to Create a Site. And for this course, we're just looking at the websites. There's also a commerce option, but that costs a lot more, and even on just the regular websites, you can actually sell products. So the first thing you'll notice is there are a ton of beautiful templates, which can get a little overwhelming. So we are going to approach this in a different way. One thing that is important to understand is that these templates have a lot of functionality in common. For example, on all of them, you can have a blog, or you can sell products, you can embed forms, you can have social media icons, but there's certain functionality that you can only find in certain templates. For example, only certain templates have sidebars or have related posts at the end of a blog post, and only certain have parallax scrolling, which, if you don't know what that is, it's this beautiful effect where the background stays in place as the page scrolls. That's parallax scrolling. Now, there aren't as many templates as it first appears when you look through this gallery of templates. That is because Squarespace has taken its most popular templates, like Pacific, for example, to demonstrate how they can be used in different ways. For example, Pacific was their most popular template, but it was actually shown for a restaurant originally. So they came out with a few clones of that template that they showed how you could use it for weddings or travel journals or touring bands and even a few other niches. And so those templates will actually have different names, even though they have pretty much the same functionality as their parent template, which was Pacific. Now, all of this functionality isn't immediately obvious from the demos. So I've made you a sortable spreadsheet modified from using my head's excellent chart, which is right here. So the spreadsheet I've made for you is in the classroom. If you click on it, you can see that you have all the template names. It tells you which version each template came out with, but that's actually not terribly important. It tells you how much you can customize each template. It tells you whether you can have a sidebar in there, and if you're a blogger, that's probably very important to you. You can see whether you can have a slideshow, which not every template does. I've got a special column here, especially for parallax scrolling, because I love it. I've listed some of the special features of each template. And then you can also see which niche Squarespace is targeting with each of those templates. Not every template targets a specific niche, and every template can be customized to suit any niche, so don't let that put you off. But for example, if you are a charity, they've already made you a special template where you can collect donations and talk more about your cause. Or if you're a musician, they've made you a template where they already have a hookup to SoundCloud and a little shop to sell your merchandise. But again, that could be used for any niche. And now if you scroll down, you'll see that there are certain templates that are specifically optimized for commerce. They're all just in this section. And there are some that were especially made for bloggers here. And then there's also some for blogging and commerce down here. And again, every template can have a blog or a product page, but some were just more tailored for that niche. And there's also another column in here called Customizability. And that tells you how much you can actually use the template controls to customize the appearance of your website. And let me show you what I mean. When you get into your site, under Style, some templates have a lot more options here than other templates. For example, you can adjust the canvas padding and the header padding and the amount of space here in your top banner, and all of the little formatting things like that you can't necessarily do in all of the templates. The other templates kind of stay how they are out of the box. I know that I love Parallax Scrolling, but that I really need a sidebar, and I would like a high degree of customizability. So first I'm going to sort by Parallax Scrolling. I'm going to sort from Z to A because I want to see the yeses before the no's, and Y comes before N. Now it's brought up all the templates that have Parallax Scrolling. So I'll go over here and I'll see a whole lot of no's in the sidebars. But here on the blog page there is a sidebar, but there's no Parallax Scrolling. So I'm out of luck. And since the Parallax Scrolling is really just visual eye candy, I guess I will live without it and choose the important functionality. So I'm just holding down Control Z to sort it back to its original sorting. So I know I want a sidebar, and I know I want very high customizability. So 5 is sticking out to me, and I can just highlight that for myself. And I'm going to go ahead and sort by customizability. And again, I'm going to go Z to A because I want to see the very highs. So I can see 5, Hunter, Juke, Mercer, Mojave, and Nueva. 5 doesn't have any special pages, but I don't actually want any special pages. I can see that it has a slideshow and gives you special square blog excerpt images. And if I just scroll over, I can see there's 2 sidebars and a very flexible layout. And its special feature is how customizable it is. So I'm going to go with that one. So now if I hover over it, it will bring up the link, and I just press on this arrow. And up it comes. I'm just going to have a look at it. And I think that looks quite nice, very modern. And I love that there's 3 columns because I do want to highlight 3 things in my site and kind of give 3 paths to the user through my site. So I'll go ahead and start with this design. So here you would just sign up, choose a very strong password. This is really the only weak point in the Squarespace system, is if you choose a guessable password, then someone can hack you through a weak password. Now I already have an existing account, so I'm going to go in through that way. And there it is, I'm in. So it's going to ask me a few questions. This doesn't actually affect the presentation of the template, but I think that it's probably useful information for Squarespace. So I will go ahead and fill it out. And the site title is going to show up in search engine. So I'm going to put my official title, which is The Soulpreneur's Journey. And there it is. Isn't it beautiful? So in this lesson, we're not going to customize yet, but I am going to give you a short tour of the important parts of the Squarespace interface. So first we start with pages. Each web page in this site has a corresponding title over here. If you look at these icons, they are actually folders. So you can think of them as sections. So in the accommodations section, we have the attic loft, the country annex, and the woodhouse. And if we wanted to add another page to that section, we would just click Add Page. Now this brings up all the different page types. Each page type has a different functionality. The most generic one is just page. Here you have your products page, which brings up the product functionality. A cover page is a unique page in that it's standalone. It doesn't have the navigation to the other pages, and it also doesn't really have blocks, which we'll learn about later. The album page is where you can embed a bunch of audio files, but it's not really meant for podcasts. It's more like if you wanted to share an audio album, just the MP3s right there. A blog page has all of your blog posts. A gallery is a nice way to show a bunch of images. And then we have a special events page and a link page. And on the same level as a folder, you can also have standalone pages. So up here in your navigation, you can have a mix of top-level links, but also section links. And if I wanted to put one of these top-level links into the section link, I could literally just put it up here and drag it. And I can reorder it according to how I want it to show up here. If there's a page that I don't want to have linked in this main navigation, I just have it down here in the Not Linked section. And this page here is really important to read before you delete it. Each template comes with a Readme page, which tells you a little bit about what is unique about this template. So it's just kind of the instruction manual that comes with each template. So that is how we create the actual pages. Now to style them, we go into the design section. And here we can put in our site title and tagline. And this is where we will add our logo. And this is where we will add our favicon, which is these lovely little icons that are in the browser tab. If we go back into the design section, template is where if we decide we don't actually want the template we chose, we can actually just install a new one here. Now everything doesn't always transfer elegantly, so it's better to change your template earlier in the process rather than later. Our style editor is where we are basically tweaking the CSS without having to go into it. 5 is an especially nice template because it lets us change a lot more about the template than you might find in some of the less customizable templates. If you ever do need to do custom CSS, it will actually be down here. You can either type into here, but that's a little bit small. So you can actually open up an editor, so you can have a little more space to write out your rules. We have a lot of commerce options. This is where we'll get to the analytics that we will be setting up towards the end of setting up our site. And here's an important section. If you are going to allow other people to modify or contribute to your site, this is where you would give them permissions. This is in Settings, Permissions. That is all for now. In the next lesson, I will show you an actual site being set up. So I'll see you in the next lesson.